Don't freak out. It's gonna be okay. I wish someone would have told me this beginning of my plant journey, like, Janae, it's a yellow leaf. It's okay. So I have been doing a series this month on my aglaonemas, an aglaonema a day. I have 29 varieties of aglaonemas. And the more that I'm making the videos on the care of the specific ones, one of the main things that they have in common is you have to do what works best for your collection. So for instance, if you're like, Janae, how do I take care of an aglaonema? And I would give you general advice. They like to dry out. They can do fine in low lighting. However, it's not the same for all of them. So for example, Aglaonema white margin. She lives in my bedroom right by this north-facing window. However, before she lived here, she lived in my plant room about 12 to 15 feet away from a north-facing window. In both times, she has thrived. So it's not typical, I can give typical advice. Well, they can only or do more better in one place than the other when there's multiple places. And she does have this yellowing leaf. I mean, it happens. It's one of her older leaves, and I'll take that off soon, but no biggie. And then if you come over here on my plant wall, I do have an aglaonema cutting. This is from the red emerald aglaonema. Look at her roots. But yes, for her, sometimes I do forget to turn on this light. Sometimes I don't, but she's doing fine, and I know water cuttings are different from the actual plants that are in the soil, but this is her requirement. And then we go to the plant room in the aglaonema tower. So all of these babies receive indirect lighting all the way from the north-facing window. That's the only light they receive, and they do completely fine. Also, too, you have to keep in mind the different varieties require different care. So in my case, for the ones on the Aglaonema tower, I do have to water my white joy more often than the others, and my two-tone moonstone, this one. And pretty much these, I can water these every 1 to 3 weeks, give or take. And also far away from the north window, maybe about 10 feet or so, I have a cutting of my Aglaonema white margin. I water her once a month. And then this one up here, she looks so sad and not the best. So I'm going to take her and give her a good drink, and I'm also going to clean up those leaves right there. Okay, now that I made a mess in watering her, I'm going to just clean up this dead matter, that dead leaf. And nothing's wrong with her. She's just leaning a little bit. And then she has that second point growing, and I'm just going to put her on a bamboo stick. Okay, now I gave her some water and I cleaned up her leaves and I put her on a bamboo stick, and she looks much better. Put her back in her spot. And then next to her, we have the Aglaonema Siam Ruby, and her leaves, I just watered her not too long ago. Her leaves actually just do that. She doesn't have any pests or nothing, but she's fine. And what I've learned too, just don't overthink stuff. When you see your plant and it's like drooping or you have yellow leaves, whatever, like, don't freak out. It's gonna be okay. I wish someone would have told me this beginning of my plant journey, like, Janae, it's a yellow leaf. It's okay. Let's assess the plant. look at it, see if there's any pests or anything, but just take it one step at a time. Don't freak out. And not only that, we love our plants so much, but we can always get a new one. So just breathe in, breathe out. It's gonna be okay. Right here is my Aglaonema cutlass. She lives on the wall up there. And she's down here because I just watered her. She's an Aglaonema that needs more watering. I water her about every 1.5 weeks. Now we're over here in the plant jungle corner. Completely different lighting. This is my Aglaonema red cochin. This is the Aglaonema rosy. They live obviously directly under this Soltec light. And any of my plants that live directly under here thrive and are doing amazing because this light's amazing. I will always and forever talk about it. But yeah, they receive the direct light. And even though they get that constant light, it's on a timer for 12 hours a day, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. I still don't have to water them as frequently, these particular ones. They do fine drying out. The last time I watered her was honestly almost a month ago. And look, she's blooming for me. My red cochin, I got her about 2 to 3 weeks ago, and I'm going to water her since she's fairly new and I'm not sure about her water scheduling. And then over here is the Aglaonema Prestige Pink, which was an import from Tropicals, Ecuador. She lives in pond. And for her, I just keep her water reservoir below her roots, and she's doing well. My Aglaonema Hot Pink Hybrid, I let her dry out a lot, honestly. But look at her coloring, absolutely beautiful. It's reddish pink, so pretty. And then over here you have the Aglaonema Spathanema. And the Aglaonema Golden Papaya. The golden papaya is in her original mix where I got her from, and she's in that peat-like mix, and I do water her a little bit more frequently. She does not like to dry out. The golden papaya does not like to dry out. So once again, if you're like, how do I take care of my Aglaonema, my Chinese evergreen? It depends. It depends on your home environment. It depends on your humidity. It depends on lighting and watering. However, you don't need a lot of artificial lights or anything like that. Aglaonemas, generally, they all can and do well in low lighting conditions. They do not have to be under lights like I have. Baseline, just give them enough water. If you see it drooping a little bit before you water it, see if it's still moist or if it's completely dry out, because then you can assess, okay, this plant, it's still moist, but it's drooping, and so I'm gonna give it a little bit more water. Or if you touch it and it's like, okay, this is like bone dry or maybe too dry, and you know the plant doesn't like that, then you know to give it more frequent waterings. So it depends on the individual plant, and also of course the potting mix. Another tip is my bigger Aglaonemas, I typically water them less often than my smaller Aglaonemas. So, por ejemplo, my Susan Sapphire, this, oh my gosh, she's a #1 stunner. Okay, so, she makes me speechless. Look at this. Look at God's creation. Absolutely beautiful. So for her, I water her once in honestly 4 to 6 weeks. And look at these new blooms. She consistently blooms for me. I actually just cut like 5 of them a couple weeks ago. Now she has like 3, 4 more. You don't have to cut blooms. That's just personal preference. So yes. So her, barely water. Her, I water her every 4 weeks. And this is the Aglaonema Red Emerald. Okay, now for propagation. Propagating Aglaonema. You can do it in soil, like a pond, perlite, whatever. For me personally, all my propagations, I always just have better success with water propagations. Sphagnum moss propagation, I have had success with it, but not as much as water. I don't even attempt to do lequa. Lequa. I don't even attempt to do leca propagations. I've never done a pond propagation, but I do have plants in pond. Anyways, this is a cutting from the Hot Pink Hybrid, and I just did node cutting. Okay, I'm just gonna do it right here. Janae, just do it. Yay. I'm gonna let her dry out first. Like, look, that looks so beautiful in there. And so this, whenever I cut her, I let her callus for like 2 days. I don't use rooting hormone, no specific reason why. I just don't. I just let my plants air dry or callus over and have fine success. And it took her over a month to root. Okay, I was gonna pull it out, but it's a little bit tight. I need to go ahead and pot her, but look at those beautiful green, healthy roots. Ah, so beautiful. So I'm happy to have a little baby. Are Aglaonemas toxic to animals? Yes, they are. This girl who is chewing on my hand, she could care less about plants. It doesn't, yeah, she's not interested in them. But if you do have dogs, cats, any animals, please just keep them away. Right, sweetie? Sweetie, tell the people.